Welcome back, Tribe. Got a really interesting one here from Tucker's debate with Piers on free speech. He was challenging him to use the F word, and he wouldn't say it. He said it maybe once, I think.
You cannot criticize Israel, as you know. You're not allowed to criticize demographic change, and you can't criticize the rest of the fabled LGBT community. And if you don't believe me, listen to this story, which is like, it's unbelievable. This is from the Daily Mail, which is like kind of a ridiculous publication, but
I love the Daily Mail.
I do too. There's a lot about it I like, but I mean, it's like absurd. But anyway, Elizabeth Kinney from Tranmere. Have you read about this?
Go on.
She's a mother of 4. I think she's a nurse, and she gets beaten up by her boyfriend. He beats her up. She goes to the hospital, and she texts someone, a buddy of hers, a friend of hers, a girlfriend of hers, and describes the man who beat her up and sent her to the hospital
This story is
as
great.
a, quote, faggot. A faggot. And she's arrested and convicted of a hate crime. The guy who beat her up is not arrested or convicted. And then
that's the state of the UK right now. The word faggot literally got her jail time, convictions. But the dude who literally assaulted a woman is just off walking free. Because that's not the first case, by the way. There was another woman that accused, I think it was a gang of migrants that had assaulted a woman. By assaulted, I mean fully penetrated, all that stuff. Okay, rape. And she said something on the text messages. And then the text messages got her in trouble, and she ended up doing more time than the actual perpetrators. I think she called them savages or something like that, something Muslim, something. That one, I believe, was in Germany, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure. This is the state of Western Europe. Their balls have been snipped.
she goes through this whole kabuki, which is now required, where she prostrates herself before the judge. I'm sorry, it was not a homophobic rant. By the way, you're allowed to be homophobic if you want in a free country. You can have any view you want. But no, because she used the word faggot, she's arrested, and the guy who punched her in the face was not. That story tells you everything.
Well, I don't know that story. If it's exactly
Daily Mail, baby.
Okay.
Pictures of her and everything.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just saying I need to look into it. But if that is how you've told it, obviously it's ridiculous.
Would you say the word faggot on camera?
No.
Why?
Because
You don't want to get arrested, do you?
doesn't want to be arrested.
Because it's so harmful to people?
No.
Is it like gay bashing? What's wrong with that?
No, actually, my whole issue with the whole trans debate, for example, is you don't need to slide into.
Listen, are we back? Is the world healing? Are we done with the crazy censorship? Can we finally just speak and be adults in the room? Is this how you take down crazy, let's just say, ideas foment on the internet, and there are radical elements that are gaining steam? Those ideas should be challenged, yes? We should have an open forum online, truly a public square where we can come and argue our ideas, and you can completely wreck somebody's worldview or their arguments and take the steam out of every single momentum that they've built, every piece of it. When you try to censor somebody and you drive them underground, you just build ardent supporters, hardcore support, right, zealots, and then they keep making even harder. Think about this. For all the creators on YouTube, there's like a little rule set you have to follow. Now, everybody else off YouTube, they say whatever they want pretty much. Now, if you were to keep somebody like Nick Fuentes, for example, who's blown up in the past year, if he was never censored, if he was allowed on YouTube and that sweet YouTube money was coming in, but he had to operate within the bounds of what you're allowed to say, do you think he would be saying things the way he's saying them? Or is it that you got deplatformed on every single platform imaginable and debanked and whatever else? So then you have to go start up your own website, is the story that I heard. And then you have to host it yourself. Then you can say whatever the fuck you want. And you could be as rash as you want in your ideas. You could say the craziest shit that makes people go, oh, you can't say that. Oh my God, did he just say that? Because there's no repercussions for saying that. Because you kicked him off of the public square. He can't speak with anybody else. So now it's too late. He's already grown. He's gotten so big. And this is one of many examples of this happening. And he's not the last. They try to cancel Tate the same way. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. You martyr them in a way. The internet never forgets. So if you want real control, you have to put these people in the box that you're operating with. and keep them in. Because the moment you push them out, it's like it's open season. You do whatever you want, say the most extreme shit you want to say. And the internet is the Wild West. It's open. There is no control. Sorry, the platforms think they have control. But if your message is decent, if you're a good orator, your shorts, the greatest invention ever. Shorts pretty much penetrated the last form of control they had because anybody can reclip a 15-second portion of an entire podcast or video just like this or what we're watching here. All it takes is 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. That's it. A 60-second clip can go viral. What is the platform going to do? Ban it? Oh my God. Someone else will just repost it on another account. Someone else will just repost it with other music on top. Someone else will do other crazy edits. And the ideas begin to spread. There is no more containment on the internet. There's only challenge. All you can do is sit down with these people and challenge their ideas if you do not agree with them. Because trying to drive them underground is how you create the monsters that you are fearing. They're still thinking that they have this level of control, but they really don't. And they should start meeting people in the middle and start talking to them. Extend the olive branch. Put these people back on all the major platforms. Let them speak with people because you look like an idiot. If we're truly the West and we have democracy and freedom, not just freedom, but freedom to speak, freedom to have a public square and say what is on your mind without being, tarnished, arrested, have that politicized and jailed for some reason or another. This is what we're supposed to represent. A birthplace of ideas. Instead, we're acting like communists and authoritarians. What's going on here?
Actually saying derogatory stuff about trans people to make the point that women's rights should be protected. You don't need to.
Well, I agree.
So what? I don't believe.
No, but it's a magic word.
I don't believe in needlessly sneering.
Well, I'm not smearing anybody. I just think.
But what would you use that word?
Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you
faggot,
use
faggot.
Okay, but why?
And I'm using it because you're not allowed to because you're
Oh, no, bro.
I don't want to.
Say, I love gay people. Faggot.
I'm allowed to. I just choose not to.
This chick just got arrested for it and convicted.
Right.
So that doesn't have a chilling effect on your ability to...
Look, there are people watching this who will be offended by the use of the word
I'm sure
chick.
they will. I'm not anti-gay. I never have been. I can use any freaking word I want.
Offended by the use of the word chick.
Chick. Okay, whatever.
How dare you be so sexist comparing women to chicks?
How about this?
What?
Do you like your heater?
Yes.
Thank you for dinner.
Thank you for this. I'm mute.
My life, the way that I actually live and treat people, be the testament to my heart. That's how I feel.
Right.
And if I've mistreated someone, I don't
believe, you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe you would call a gay person a faggot to their face.
Not in a mean way. Right. By the way, the only people I ever hear use the word faggot are gay.
Right.
Ever. Just like the only people you ever hear use the N-word are black.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So if you spend any time around gays, and I have spent a lot of time around gays who... Well, of course, I work in television. I mean, half our staff was gay. They're great people. And they're the only ones who ever said, faggot, he's a faggot. I'd be like, I have no need to say the word. Actually, it's kind of an ugly word, to be totally honest.
But you know the argument they use, which is...
they don't use it. They use the word constantly. I've worked with them my whole life.
Well, I wrote a column, for example, about the use of...
But I'm not allowed to use it, but you are. I don't play those games, dude.
Listen, I'm going to make a point. I wrote a column for the Mail, actually, about the use of the N-word. And the Washington Post did a huge report on this and said that every day on Twitter, as it was then, the N-word was used 500,000 times, but almost exclusively by young African-American men.
So it's cool.
Well, they would argue, and I understood the argument.
Yeah.
They've reclaimed that word.
God.
I don't believe in universal rights either. I think certain standards should apply to certain people based on their blood, but don't apply to everybody.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's what you're saying, dude. The standards have to be absolute, or they're not standard.
I was about to make my argument that I made in the column.
Sorry, you're getting me so wound up.
No, but I actually made the point in the column that I don't think that works. I don't think you reclaim it. What you actually do is you empower genuine racists to say, well, if they're using that word, I'm going to use it. And so I felt it was an entirely self-defeating reclamation of that offensive word. I would say the same.
Now, what happened? Do you guys remember sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never hurt me? What happened to that? How did we get to this point where it's like, well, you're special, you use this word, and that's a special word too. You can't say that. Why? Oh, it pisses certain people off. And, oh, it's like derogatory. And the historical. And it's a word. Who cares? The same thing with these platforms. I don't say half these words. I would like to say the F word all the time. I grew up saying that. Faggot. I grew up saying that word all the time, literally. And it was like a stand-in. It was like a noun, an adjective, a descriptor. It was everything. It, like, you can combine words with that. It meant so many things that were not gay, specifically. Yes, gay people in the 90s specifically were definitely called that, of course, in a derogatory fashion, of course. And now they were like, we have taken that word back and it's powerful now and we get to say it. Fuck off. We're done. Race card denied. Gay card denied. Oppression Olympics denied. We're over it already. We're all adults. We know what the fuck we're saying. Nobody's feelings are getting hurt. And if they do, we don't care. You don't get to live in a civilized society. If your feelings get hurt, go move to the fucking mountains, bro. Go become a monk. Go out there in the middle of nowhere where your neighbor is like 5 miles away. If you don't want to live in a city or a society or around people, civilization, you're free to leave. If you're so offended by what other people are doing, then you can go away. Nobody is forcing, but we're not all supposed to change the way we behave to make you, the snowflake, feel better. Oh, he said something. She said that. Oh my God. Okay, and you can't deal with city people and how rude they are and the crazy shit people are saying. Get away from them. There's like a new study that came out that was saying for the trans-identified kids, the young ones in school, it was like Brown University and something else. It ended up being 1 in 10 at the height of the Biden, like peak wokeness, essentially. We're like, oh my God, like a quarter of Gen Z are they're into chopping off body parts and shit. And then it turns out after that fad went away, because that's what it was, a fad, it was only 3% of students that were identifying as, what the fuck are they even identifying as? You don't even know anymore today. Non-binary. It's a joke, bro. We have gotten so soft, and everybody's wondering, why is society falling apart? We can't even say words to each other. And then when we got criminals running around in the streets committing actual heinous crimes, we're so, paralyzed into punishing crime because, oh my God, he was a Muslim, or he was black, or he was non-binary, he was trans, hide the manifesto, or he's this or that or the other. Who gives a fuck? You're a criminal. You committed a crime, you go to jail. Why is there a dude with 72 arrests that's been let out of prison? 72 times he committed crimes, caught and released, and the judges signed off on it, and the dude goes and throws like gasoline or something, burns a woman in a train or a bus station, wherever it was. He lit a woman on fire. The dude had to arrest 72 times. And then this causes problems because the guy happens to be black. So then they look at him and go, black privilege. Everybody else is looking like, wow, who else can commit 72 crimes? And then they start looking at everybody else and paint a broad stroke. And this is how you get racial issues in society. Because no one would care that there's a black guy walking, there's an Asian guy, a white guy, a whatever guy, why, it doesn't matter. Nobody would care if all the bad people were in prison and you had nothing to worry about. But because so many crimes are being perpetrated by so many people that probably are mentally ill in some way or another, and even if they're not, it doesn't matter, you committed a crime, you should be jailed. Why are so many criminals walking around? Why are we soft on crime? Our world is inverted. You call someone a faggot, you go to jail. You beat up a woman, you are released because she called you a fag. What? And this is the world we're supposed to be living. This is justice. This is a just system. This is what the people are being tired of having to live around and deal with. This is why the society that we're living in is rapidly deteriorating, from the political spectrum to just even across the street to your neighbor. Nobody trusts each other. Everybody's double checking. Everybody is starting to look at the world through a racial lens. They're winning. They got us looking at everything like it's race. And in the 90s, it was pretty cool. It's pretty chill. Didn't really have these problems. But now you let all the thugs out. You let all these criminals, these nut jobs, these mentally ill people that are preying on innocents on the street. And now everybody's looking. Plus, the social media just augments everything. Dude, you want to go scroll through TikTok right now? Not even TikTok. Go scroll through X and you're going to see dude with 30 arrests. He just killed somebody. Another dude doing this just killed somebody. And now everybody's looking like, oh my God, that person from that group, they're committing a lot of crime. I'm going to start thinking a certain way about all of them. And then we're backsliding into what? And this is the part we're not supposed to say this out loud, as if it's not our politicians failing us completely. You got bozos even on this channel. You go to the comment section when we were watching those, like the African guy, Frank, was talking to either African Americans or other Africans from Africa and just discussing the issues of blacks in general in society, right? And then it was just a discussion. And he was just pushing back on some ideas about, victimhood or development or, history. And then there's people in the comment section just super butthurt about just the broad stroking of everything. On both sides, white or black, it doesn't matter. And it's just like, wow, this is what is out there in the world right now. This is what's there out with the people. This is what's fomenting underneath the surface. You really want to be a part of that when it explodes? You really want to say, these are my countrymen? These are my countrymen. They feel this way about each other. Why? Because somebody did something. And then it's just painted on everybody with a broad stroke. And yes, let's say statistically proven that some groups commit more crime, way more crime, disproportionately more crime than others. Yeah, well, if all the bad people were just jailed like they were supposed to be, no matter your skin color, anybody walking around the streets wouldn't be a threat. But because our system doesn't work and our politicians won't jail people and our judges are corrupt and they're super woke and liberal and criminals are allowed to run free while innocent people are getting arrested, then you have to look at everybody as a threat. And who is the most threat? Statistically speaking. So yes, you start to get stereotyped. People start to look at you funny because they don't know statistically, are you a criminal or not? And this is the stupidity of the system that we're living in. But if you speak this way, if you say these kinds of things, if you show like, hey, bro, I don't really give a fuck about the color of a person's skin, right? It's the system that's allowing bad people. And it's, yes, true that a lot of bad people that should be in prison happen to have a certain skin color or come from a certain community or whatever the fuck it is. If you say that out loud, automatically you're a racist. Racist, bro. Like, oh, don't believe your eyes, And this is how our society has ended up the way it has. And this is why nobody trusts each other and nobody can stand each other anymore. And everybody's at each other's throats and everybody is digging into their, own lines drawn from their own communities and will not even reach out to speak to anybody. That's why you get crazy shit like those anti-white men stuff, like white men are the devil. It's all a white man's fault. White man pillaged and stole from the world. The white man did it. We need to do anti-whiteness. Like they had, I think in Minnesota, the university has something like decentering whiteness or something like de-whiting yourself or some crazy shit like that at the university. These woke policies. What do you think happens when you tell a huge demographic to de-white themselves or white apologists or some stupid shit like that? Can you imagine if we told black people the same thing? Hey, you need to apologize for being black. How fucking dumb does that sound? This is an anti-black zone. This is a white-only area. Can you imagine the world say they literally have DEI spaces in college? This is a BIPOC area only, non-colonial area only. If you've never been colonized, and it's like, where do the Eastern Europeans go then? Are they allowed in here? Are they like a special asterisk of white? It's so dumb, dude. The Oppression Olympics denied. We're denying all these cards in 2025 and going forward. De-fucking-nied. Grow up, be an adult, participate in society. If you don't, that's of your own volition. You commit a crime, you're a degenerate, you get locked up. No one gives a fuck. Where you come from, what side of the street you grew on, or what color your skin is. Prison, death sentences, locking them away for life, no bail. Let us enjoy living out free in the streets with our kids without having to worry about criminals, no matter where they're fucking from and what color their skin is. That a mayor, I don't know what the fuck he was. Some politician is a black guy. I don't know if he was a lawyer speaking on behalf of somebody or something. He was like, incarceration, something. He was just saying like it's racist to jail people. It's racist to be tough on crime. It's like, what double speak are we having here? So you're saying what? That blacks commit too much crime and therefore they're getting arrested and that's racist? It's a joke, dude. We live in a clown show, unfortunately.
To gay people, if you constantly use the F word in your own...
What's the F word?
Well, you know what? We've just been saying it. If you want to keep saying
Fuck.
it, you keep saying it. I'm not going to keep
It's
saying it.
worse than fuck, isn't it?
To a gay person, from a straight person, yes.
From a straight person, but not from the gay person?
Well, that's my point. I don't...
So I thought
I understand the reclamation argument that they put up. That if they
reclamation,
that they're reclaiming the word and they're disempowering it.
It's fine.
As an offensive
I don't care.
slur.
I think that's kind of amusing, actually. I
just don't think it works. I think the more these words get used, then the more.
But is it really about words? I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
Because I think it empowers people who are genuinely racist or homophobic to then use those words.
Okay, they're genuinely racist and homophobic. I don't care. Why don't you pick up the trash? Okay, that's kind of how I feel, and stop letting people from countries where they can't speak English come to your country by the millions. Like, don't the material things matter? Don't the actual things matter? Your father lying on a cot in a public hospital?
I do think that people, when they come to a country, should try and learn the language.
Of course, but what? I'm not attacking anybody.
No, fuck no. You don't try and learn the language. You have to have a certain expertise in the language already. If you want to move to a country, there should be limits that say you have to have already studied and can speak a little, not even a little. I mean, listen, we don't expect you to have native level upon entry, but there should be stipulations that every few years you will get tested on your proficiency. And it needs to be at a certain level and growing so that by year 4 or 5, you are native level proficient. And I mean native level. And nobody would have a problem. There are far too many immigrant communities in the West in general, where these people come in and create parallel societies and they don't speak the language, never will, and have no intention to ever learn it. Enough already. First of all, if you don't speak a lick of the language, you just can't come here. You had to have already studied back home, became proficient enough to be able to read a test and take it and write in a basic fashion and speak, at least on a basic fashion, we could understand each other. Even if we have to point a little bit. That's fine, because you will be held to a standard. Every few years, you're going to get tested on your proficiency. And if it has not increased, you're getting sent back home. And that is common sense. Nobody would be against this. Nobody.
I'm just saying the whole debate about what words are allowed and by whom is, first of all, insane because, again, standards mean nothing unless they apply to everyone because we believe in human rights, not group rights or ethnic rights. We're against that because we're against the Nazis, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. But it's also a distraction from what actually matters. If your dad is spending hours, I'm sure he was a Briton, he spent his whole life here paying taxes, and that's what he gets. It's like we should be having
completely unacceptable.
But it is acceptable. That's the problem.
No,
and
it's
instead,
not.
we're arresting that girl for saying faggot.
Well, the two things,
or as we say here, the F word.
Yeah. No, like I said, I don't know that story. I'll look into it, but I do. If that
Does
is,
she look like a faggot user to you? She looks too nice.
Okay. Come on.
Sorry.
Behave yourself.
No, I can't. But
I know you can't.
They're making me want to say that because it's so outrageous that you would arrest someone for a word.
No, I agree.
And like we actually have to put ourselves at risk to stop.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Well, then help me now. Let's have a moment of self-liberation.
I think you're beyond help.
Hold my hand. We're gonna say faggot together. You ready?
No, we're not.
Do you say gay and retard?
Huh?
Do you say gay and retard?
I say gay. I wouldn't use the R word. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't.
Are you?
My choice. By the
do
way,
you think it
I'm
should be legal to abort
I'm
a Down syndrome baby?
I am exercising my free speech right not to use that word.
I totally agree. I actually don't use the N word ever
Right.
because I think it's ugly. I just don't
So
like.
by your own petard, you're being
I
wicked.
kind of agree. I'm mostly
we
making
broadly
fun
agree,
to
don't
make
we?
a point. I actually think that we should not kill people because they have Down syndrome. I think they're beautiful people. And I think when you get to heaven, it'll probably be filled with people with Down syndrome because they are.
All right. Never ask a man his salary, a woman her age, or Israel for evidence. In England, there are more than 3,000 people locked up over tweets the government didn't like. Yeah, pretty hard to defend the UK government at this point when you can get arrested for thought crimes. That's so true. Yeah. Yeah, and this is the problem I think we're having because the rich upper class are completely detached from the reality on the ground for everyday life for an average citizen of the West. I live in London and peers claiming most things are just fine. For example, you could make the same argument. rich people saying most things are fine in every city that they're living in is mind blowing because just like Piers, he lives in a rich man's bubble completely detached from reality, which is what every wealthy person that lives in a wealthy side of town and never has to leave the bubble to do business or transact in any other way whatsoever always claims it's all fine. There's no problem. Nothing's going on. Oh, it's they're just gaslighting. That stuff's just 1 in a million. Yeah, it's the news. They just report bad things. That's not real. What are you talking about, dude? Have you been out on the streets, away from your pearly gates that you live in, plated in gold everywhere? With, you guys notice when the rich people, they live in those neighborhoods with the gates, they got armed guards in the front. Yeah. They have security at the gate. Forget just a automatic gate that opens with like a little remote or that reads your license plate when you go in, right? A little private community. No. They have armed guards. And they must flag you down. Who are you here to see? What house? Okay. They call Mr. blah, 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 blah. You have a guest for blah, 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 blah. Okay. Then they verify that they had a guest coming and then they let you through. Yeah. You don't get that kind of security and safety, but they do. But let them tell you, don't believe your eyes about what's happening in the streets. Why their policies are literally killing you. Interesting, yeah? So anyways, appreciate you guys for tuning in. As usual, we'll see you on the next one.